What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at support memories. We're going to be doing first a brief overview of just what they are, how to obtain them, how to use them, the benefits they have, the limitations, things like that. And then once we go over that brief overview, we're also going to be taking a look at the list of all of the available support memories in the game. And I'm going to be pointing you guys toward which ones I think are the most valuable, the most useful. So if you want to spend some time grinding up different support memories, you know which ones to go and attack first. So to get us started here, so support memories are kind of like an item. I would say they're not quite as powerful in most cases. For a couple of reasons, right? So you'll notice here there's like a separate spot here for support memories to be activated than, for just the normal support items. The big bonus of this is that the Dokkan engine does not actually detect a support memory as a support item, which means for a lot of challenge content in the game that requires you to clear that content without using support items, you can still actually complete those missions whilst using a support memory, because it just doesn't qualify as a support item, right? So that is one big benefit you have. There is also a limited amount of challenge content in the game that disables your usage of support items. And almost no event in the game will actually disable the use of support memories. One that I can think of is Easy A stages actually do disable the usage of support memories, and then also Burst Mode has one of the sliders where you can actually manually activate, right, whether you're able to use support items or support memories, and turning that off does give you quite a massive buff for, your points in Burst Mode. But obviously that's a manual selection. But yeah, those are basically, I think, the only two cases where you wouldn't be able to use support memories. Maybe there is some other challenge content that I'm not thinking of, but for the most part, you can use them basically anywhere in the game, which is pretty exciting stuff. Oh, I think also Ultimate Clash is another place that you can't use support memories. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to take any into there. So yeah, while they oftentimes don't have as powerful of effects as support items themselves, there are a lot more use cases for them, so that can be a really, really helpful thing for them. Okay, so let's go ahead and scroll down here. We just got some basic info about them, so for those of you that may not know, in order to gain access to using a support memory, there will be a specific number tied to that support memory specifically. Each support memory is going to have its own number. Usually it's something rounded out like 100 or 200. So from whatever place you are earning the support memory from, you will have to earn that amount of that support memory. Once you have earned all of the amount, so for instance, this oolong one here, you need 100. So once you have collected 100 of these oolong support memories, then it will be completed. And from the moment it is completed, you permanently have it. So unlike support items that are, earned individually and then used one at a time and depletes the amount of them that you have, with support memories, once you earn the collected amount you need, then it unlocks the ability for you to use the support memory permanently for the rest of forever, right? So the difference is the way that you expend your resources with support memories. You will, over time, earn these film reels. So these film reels will be earned most commonly by playing stages. Any stage in the game that takes stamina will give you a random small amount of these support reels. Some stages give out, let's say like you finish it like story event stages, things that are a little more low yield like that, you might get like 3 support reels, so just like 3 red ones and 3 orange ones. It'll just be random. You'll run that same stage again, you'll get like 3 yellow and 3 green or something, right? And then there are other stages that are a little bit more lucrative, right? If you're running quest mode stages, like the most recent quest mode stages, all the way up in like the area 30, late 30s, you're going to be getting like 13 reels at a time that drop. And then there are certain growth events, like the Bulma's Genius Battle Prep, the B-Pan event, the what's it called? The Whis, Whis special training stage that you use for earning equipment. All of those ones give you all 5 types, and they'll give you, sometimes upwards of like 20, 30, 40 of them at a time, depending on the stage, right? So there are some decent ways to earn more support reels quicker if you want, and they also are available for purchase here in the Baba shop. You can buy them with Baba points, and I definitely do not recommend doing that. They are quite expensive. As you can see, it is 3,000 points for only 10 of the reels. We'll get into like the price expending them, I guess, in a moment here, but just take my word for it that this is definitely not a worthwhile way to spend your Baba points, and for the most part, you're ideally going to want to just run random stages, and then alongside earning whatever spoils you get in the stage, you know, medals or characters or whatever, you're also going to be earning these back in small increments, right? So yeah, so you can see that once you've unlocked the support memory, there will be a number tied to it post-unlock. That number is indicative of how many reels you're going to have to spend in order to activate the support memory. Now, the much like the same thing as like a support item, if you were to bring a support memory into a stage and it never activates, you never use the effect of it and you never see the animation go live, then it will not expend the reels for you having attached the support memory on during that stage. But if the support memory does activate at any point during the stage, then it will expend the reels, and your total amount of reels will go down by the number of, you know, tied to that specific support memory. Each support memory does have its own amount that it costs to spend on, and for the most part, that is pretty accurately tied to how powerful the support memory is. So that is one decent way that you can identify right off the bat if it's a good support memory or like a really strong support memory, is if it costs more to use, right? For the most part, there are a couple of exceptions, and we'll get into that once we start looking at the specific list of all of the support memories, right? So this picture is showing 100 of these support reels because when support memories first came into the game a few years ago, 100 was the maximum that you could hold. They have upped that limit all the way to 1,000 at this point, so you can now hold 1,000 of each type of support reel at a time. Once you're at 1,000 of all 5 of these typings, you will not be able to earn any more support reels. It will still show the drops for them at the end of stages, you know, once you've finished completing a stage, but it just won't add to your inventory. It's the same idea if you have like a support item or a training item or something like that, or a awakening medal maxed out and you have the most amount of it, even though it shows that you've earned it at the end of a stage, it still won't give you an additional one, right? So just something to keep in mind there. But as a side note, I do have a little bit of a hack here. There is one way to get around this. Now, certain stages, so this is like a random story event here that does drop support memories. There are limited stages like this, but some stages do have specific missions tied to them where the mission reward is actually support reels. For the most part, these are tied to actually using a new support memory, like for whatever stage you farmed it up from. Using it will allow you to earn some support reels. Basically, it's their way of giving you one free usage of the support memory so you can try it out, and then they gift you back the reels it was going to take to spend that support memory in the first place. But if you wait to collect the mission until after you have like too many support reels to collect this, you know, in your inventory of 1,000, then instead these support reels will be sent to your gift box, and they will sit there until you have, you know, a low enough amount of that type of support reel, and then you could go and collect them out of your gift box. So technically, this is a pseudo way to have more than 1,000 support reels at a time. You could, you know, essentially complete these missions and then not collect the missions until, you know, you have too many, and then now they would just sit in your gift box forever, basically. Well, not forever, for 99 days up to. And then you'd have to collect them at some point, and they would go away, right? So yeah, that's just a little, like, side hack that I wanted to mention, is a possibility you have. Obviously is super limited by the number of missions that, you know, do actually drop support reels as the, like, mission reward. That is a pretty limited thing. Okay, so that's basically it for, like, the usage guide. Let's see here. Oh, I guess we may as well talk about the support memory boost function a little bit here. So this is a challenge event that is directly tied to support memories. Every time a new stage comes out of this, it is essentially an event that quote-unquote easy-A's support memories. So you'll earn these awakening medals that allow your support memories to get stronger and stronger, right? So I guess let me go to this to show you an example of it. So for like this Oolong's Wish one, when you initially get the support memory, this is going to be the effect of it, right? You get a 50% drop rate bonus on specified events, and then as you earn these medals through the support memory boost stage, they will automatically apply the moment that you earn the medals or like collect the missions that have these medals. It'll show an animation on your screen. It'll automatically apply the bonus, leveling up your support memory to the next level and then giving it a better effect. So yeah, as you can see here, there are levels to this, but for the most part, it's usually going to be pretty easy once you start tackling these missions to just get them fully awakened and then get the maximum, benefits from that. Also worth noting, the cost of usage for the support memories never goes up once they get their, level ups through the support memory boost. So that is just a nice little quirk of that event. Something neat to note about it. But yeah, so we're not going to get too much more into the support memory boost function here. This is like a whole other event, and obviously there would be a ton of individual guides that I could do for like the individual stages that release and stuff. But there are quite a few of these stages at this point. This website is a little bit outdated, so it's not showing all of the stages. It's only showing for the first 5 that initially released when this event came out. But just know that this event is limited to free-to-play characters. You're only allowed to bring free-to-play characters into this event for any given stage, so just know that if you do want to boost your support memories, then you're probably going to make sure to have, a pretty stacked free-to-play box in order to get all the missions done required to earn all these medals, right? So before we get into the specific support memories, we are about to go and take a look at the list, the full breakdown list of them. I just wanted to make sure to note these 5 support memories here are the original 5 that came out, so they don't follow some of the same patterns as all the other ones, because there's a few patternistic things I'm going to point out for a specific reason. Just know that these ones break the mold just slightly, so these are a little bit of exceptions, so I'll be referencing back to them momentarily here. Okay, I guess I might as well stay here in case we need to come back to this page, because that is going to be about it. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop on over to the Thieving 6 wiki. I was going to mention that on the fandom, and this could be a nice place for us to take a look at a list of all the support memories, but the fandom, much like that support memory boost section, is actually a bit out of date here, so not all of the support memories are even listed, so that's why I didn't want to rely on this list, because there is a good amount of stuff missing, especially quite a few of the strongest ones in the game that released during the 10th anniversary, so I did want to make sure to include those, so we're not going to be using this list. The one thing that does hurt, though, is that there are 3 different websites you can take a look at all of this information on. So you have the Dokkan Battle fandom here. We have the Thieving 6 Dokkan wiki here, and then we also have the Dokkan info website. And the only one of these 3 that gives you the information about where to obtain the support memories is the fandom. It will actually show you which event you need to play in order to earn it, or, to at least guide you toward it directly, so you know where in game to go and try and check it out. And the other 2 websites do not show you this information, right? So that is a little bit of a bummer here. That is some background work I didn't do, so when I tell you what the strongest support memories are, I'm probably not going to be able to indicate exactly where each of them came from. Hard to just keep track of that perfectly over the years with so many of them having released, right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. That's why we're not using that website for it, because it's not fully, up to date, but these ones do not have the information about where to get these specific support memories. That being said, I am going to be able to indicate to you some idea of where they come from. So there's 2 different things that we can look at. One is the cost of the support memory itself, and the other is the level of the support memory. So any of the ones that have 200 as their cost drop from a challenge event of some kind, whether it's a Super Battle Road mission reward, or whether it's from some other type of challenge content like a Red Zone or a Supreme Magnificent Battle. Sometimes those very specific, like single time release challenge events, like the Mortal Will, the Wrath of Gods in Mortal Will, I think it's called, and you know, like the collection of epic battles, I think maybe, or no, not the, yeah, the collection of epic battles. That's where you get like these ones from. So yeah, any of the ones that have cost 200 film reels, those ones you're only going to be able to earn by completing whatever challenge content stage they're from. And then all of the ones that are less than that, basically 170, 120, 100, or just 70. Well, I guess just 170, 120, and 100. I think 150 is an option as well. I think there's a couple. Yeah, there's a couple that cost 150. All of those are going to be available to earn through either story events or Dragon Ball story events. Much easier places to get them in game, right? Where you just have to like farm basically a story event stage. So then the other way to indicate where these come from is, like I said, the level of them. So any of the ones that are level 3 drop from a challenge stage. And here's why. Because the challenge stage ones basically just have the rainbow medals that attach to them to level them up further. So they're only going to level up twice, with 15 of the rainbow medals and then 30 of the rainbow medals, so they only end up getting up to level 3. Whereas the ones that can get to level 5 are always farmable from a story event, or like a Dragon Ball story event, because these are the ones that are going to be usable in the support memory boost stage. And the way that the support memory boost works is that it has, you know, the 4 typings of metals, and they will level up 4 times all the way up to level 5, right? I guess I didn't explain that exactly thoroughly here, because these ones you don't actually farm from the support memory boost stage. These ones are just additional medals you would get from future missions that are tied to the same event that you would have unlocked the support memory from in the first place. So yeah, the way that those ones work from challenge content is it just gives you the 2 extra missions or multiple extra missions to be able to earn these medals over time, right? So yeah, the thing I was talking about with those original 5 support memories and why they were kind of an exception, you'll notice this one is a level 3, but you don't actually get this from a challenge content stage, right? That's just because it was one of the original 5 support memories, and they worked a little bit differently, so these ones actually only go up to level 3. And then they are also different because the original 5 are the only ones that have the 70 support cost, or film cost, which is much less than other ones, right? Okay, so that's about all of the background information that I have about the support memories. Now let's go ahead and start scrolling through the entire list here, and I'll be telling you guys, you know, which ones I think are the best and not. So the very first ones that I want to start with, I'm just going to go a little bit out of order for a couple of these. So we're going to kind of do this in tiers. There's basically 3 tiers of support memories that I want to talk about. So the very first tier of support memory that I'm going to mention is the reward bonus support memories. There are 3 of them in game at this point. So we have the Oolong's Wish here, which is going to give you a bonus drop of 85% within events that have special effects or like special drop rates. So this is one that you can use alongside those while you're farming up any, you know, characters or medals or things like that to give you some additional drop rates and make it a little bit quicker to farm. So we have the Oolong Wish that does that. There is also the Bola Went Shopping support memory that has the exact same effect. Notice the cost on this one is 120 though, because it wasn't one of those original 5 that has the, you know, lesser cost. So this one does cost you a little bit more reels, but it does have the exact same effect. And then the last one is all the way down here at the bottom, the Android 18 fees. This one has that exact same effect as well. And notice that it still has that same cost. So the 3 of those all have the exact same effect, and obviously the Oolong's Wish one is going to be the best because you do get the most amount of uses out of it with your 1,000 support reels. Now, I did say earlier that I don't think it's worthwhile to use your Baba points to grab more support reels. The only time I think it's worthwhile at all is for this Oolong's Wish support memory. Because it's so cheap, you can get so many uses. I think it's something like 14 uses out of it with one stack of 1,000 support reels. So if you're doing a lot of free-to-play farming, and you're trying to farm up a bunch of different cards, things like that, for whatever reason you're farming, I feel like any event that has a drop rate bonus, you're definitely going to want to be using this Oolong's Wish support memory. And then obviously the other two as well. But if you run out of those reels because they cost more to use, it wouldn't be worthwhile for you to use your Baba points on those ones. I would just continuously use your Baba points on the Oolong's Wish one so you can get the most bang for your buck, right? So yeah, that's the only time I think it's really worthwhile to do that. For any other cases, I probably wouldn't bother with it. Okay. So, there's actually one other piece that I did not mention about support memories in general. I think that's probably an important note here. So, support memories, unlike support items, do not proc when you tell them to. They proc when their effect activates, right? So, I guess we'll just take a look at, like, this random one here. So, Martial Artist Medal. All allies attack key +1, attack and defense 10% for 3 turns when there is a World Tournament category enemy or ally on the team starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle. So basically, in order for this one to proc, you first need to make sure you have either a World Tournament character on your team, or you're facing off against a World Tournament enemy, and then on the 3rd turn of battle, this support memory will activate and then give you this effect of the 10% bonus in the key for 3 turns, right? So you're not getting to decide when this activates in battle. It's not just a passive effect that you get to apply at any time. You have to meet the activation conditions for it to then proc. So that's why these are a little bit more finicky than support items. That's why I say they're not quite as strong. Also because the effects of them are not quite as strong as a lot of support items. You're not getting things like nullifying the enemy attacks or major pools of damage reduction or anything like that. Usually, for the most part, as you'll see as we go through this list, almost every single support item is just going to be giving you stats. A little bit of key, a little bit of attack, a little bit of defense is pretty much all you're getting out of any given support memory, right? Okay, so that is officially all of the things that you need to know about support memories. Now let's move on to take a look at the list. Okay, so first up, yeah, we did have the Oolong's Wish. We had those 3. Okay, so that was tier 1, was the bonus reward, like the drop rate bonus ones. Now the second tier of support memories that we're going to go through is all of the ones that I indicated cost 200. Now, there's a specific reason why they cost 200, and there's one specific difference that the 200 cost ones have than the rest of them, and that is they have a permanent effect. So you'll notice here, this one here, Goku Gets Married. Goku's family category allies get a 1 key and 20% stats in battle. I guess it's also worth noting, maybe I'll be pointing this out frequently as we go through this list. I'm not going to continuously open these up because it's just going to be tedious for me to do this every time, and kind of an extra, time sink that we're not going to worry about. But this one's level 3, so it has already gotten its boost, which is why it's 20%. Rather than the initial 10% that it started out as. So as I point out that it's leveled up, if I mention it's level 3, I mention it's level 5 or something, just know that's because it's post support memory boost, so it's only actually going to have that strong of an effect if you do the support memory boost for it, otherwise it will be a little bit less. Regardless, though, any of the 200 film cost ones are still going to have a permanent effect even before doing the boost to them, right? So yeah, I think that this is actually one of the best, and obviously the all of the 200 cost ones that have the permanent effect are going to be the better ones than any of the other ones. But some of them are linked to categories that are not quite as lucrative or widespread. Goku's family is not one of those. This is a massive category with a ton of the best units in the game, obviously, as it has every single Goku card, basically. So yeah, this is one of the best support memories in the game, for sure. Okay, scrolling down here to the next 200. Oh, so this one technically doesn't count. The Reunion Guided by Fate. So Otherworld Warriors or Time Limit category allies, attack and defense 10% in battle. And again, that is a permanent buff. This one is actually tied to Stage 81 of Super Battle Road. That's going to be for Legendary Existence. This stage does not even release until next week. Yeah, or... Wait, that's from last year. Do we actually have the support memory? Did I completely miss? Oh, that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay, so yeah, we still don't have it yet. Let me switch to in-game really quick and show this off. Yeah, so I guess we don't have it yet, because as each Super Battle Road stage releases, they give us one of these as a mission reward for clearing it, and then, you know, we have to wait for an entire 10 Super Battle Road stages before we'll have enough of the support memories earned in order to be able to use it, right? So right now you technically can't even use that support memory, so it doesn't count, really, as a support memory in-game. But yeah, just note that that is one that will be upcoming in the coming months, though they have been slowing down the rate that they've been releasing Super Battle Road stages by quite a hefty amount, and I think it's just because they're running out of categories and they don't want the event to be done with, right? So yeah, this one we can't use yet, but it will be a decent one. Time Limit is a pretty good category post 10th anniversary. We got a lot of good buffs for that. Remember that all of the, like, Gogeta fusions and Vegito fusions are going to be on there, so there's quite an extensive amount of characters that are very, very top tier in the game that are on Time Limit right now. Otherworld Warriors, on the other hand, is not a great category. That one is extremely lacking in good units. But for the Time Limit portion of this, that will be a pretty good support memory to use. Okay, let's see. Moving down here to the next 200, we have this one, power level 530,000. So this one is earned from the collection of epic battles. I guess I might as well tell you for the ones that I know. This one is earned from Super Battle Road. We know this one is from Super Battle Road as well. So yeah, this one is from the collection of epic battles. So Planet Namek Saga category extreme class allies get 15% stats in battle. So that is pretty good. And this one's only level 1, so if it ever gets a, you know, boost up higher, then those stat numbers are going to go up even more. Which, you know, typically they release at 10%, and then after their boost, they go up to 20%. So the fact that these are at 15% is pretty good, and that's just because it has the additional restriction of only being for extreme class allies, right? And then there's the, adjacent one that comes out with the, you know, alongside it with the exact same event that is just for superclass Planet Namek Saga allies. Okay, the next 200 that we've got is also from Collection of Epic Battles. It's, again, a duplicate of the exact same support memories we just looked at, but now it's for the Android Cell Saga category allies. Extreme, and then down here with the Super. Okay, so this one... Oh, I don't remember where you get this one from. I think this is one of the newer ones from one of the 10th Anniversary Challenge event stages, but this one's going to be giving androids or Earthling category allies 10% in battle, because it is at level 1 there. So that's not too bad. 2 categories there is pretty good. These are, like, smaller categories that aren't quite as good. I mean, we've gotten some really good androids category buffs recently, so that's not the worst thing. Yeah, I suppose this one's decent. Probably not quite as good as, like, the Goku family one or, like, the Namek Saga one. But yeah, definitely still usable, right? Okay, let's see here. Oh, this one. Okay, so this one is earned from one of the 10th Anniversary Challenge content stages. Bond of Master and Disciple category allies get 20% attack and defense in battle, and for 7 turns from the start of battle, Earthbred Fighters category allies get an additional 1 key. This secondary portion of it is not as important. There, you are going to notice of the 200s that we're going through, a lot of them are are set up with this exact same wording, where they get the permanent buff in battle, and then for 7 turns they're also getting the 1 key for a different category. The one, I mean, I guess it is a bonus key. That is a benefit, but it's not like a really big thing, right? The main thing that you're looking for is those permanent stat buffs. So yeah, this one is a level 3 as well, so it's got the 20% buff. Bond of Master and Disciple is a pretty good category. So yeah, overall, I would say that that's a pretty strong support memory. I think I actually misspoke, because it's got the boost. I can't remember if this is from the 10th anniversary events or not. But like I said, that's something that I knew we were going to be lacking in this, just because it's hard to remember all of them. Okay, the next one we've got here is Farewell Goku. So this one is a 10% buff for GT Heroes category allies, and then the 1 key for 7 turns for Goku characters. This one is earned from the Shadow Dragon challenge event. So So yeah, that one's going to give you, or is it from the Shadow Dragon event, or was this one from the Shadow Dragon event? I can't remember. I think one of them is from the GT Red Zone, and the other one's from the Shadow Dragon event. I don't remember which one's which, though. But yeah, then this one is going to be for Shadow Dragon's allies, get 10% in battle, and then extreme class characters get the 1 extra key for 7 turns. So yeah, those ones are pretty decent. GT Heroes obviously has gotten some really, really good buffs recently with like the GT Super Saiyans, the Golden Week Dual Dokkan Fests getting their easy A's, and then, you know, like the new Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the 10th anniversary and the 7th anniversary LR Super Saiyan 4s that got their easy A. So yeah, this one does have a little bit more use cases now than it did like last year, right? Shadow Dragon Saga, kind of same thing, because there are a lot of GT Heroes characters that are on Shadow Dragon Saga, but as far as like all the Shadow Dragons, all the extreme class versions of the Shadow Dragon Saga category, not really too much going on there, unfortunately. Been a long time since we've seen any real buffs for that, right? Okay, so we have the 100 Years Later. That's going to be Goku's family or Vegeta's family. Category allies get 10% in battle. So technically, inherently, that's just better than this one, because this one's only for Goku's family category allies, whereas that one is for both Goku's family and Vegeta's family category allies. So I guess that is just directly better. But the thing is that this one's only at level 1, and so you're only getting, 10% as opposed to 20%. But it will cover a wider pool of characters, allowing you to span your full team worth of characters a little easier with that support memory active. So that is kind of neat to note. Okay, then we have this one. This one was my favorite one to use for a long time. This was actually the very, very first one that cost 200 and gave the permanent buff in battle. So this one you earn from the God of Destruction event. So Universe Survival Saga allies are going to be getting the 20% stats in battle. Oh wow, and then this one's actually giving 2 key for 7 turns with the tournament participant category members. Interesting. Interesting note there. Usually it's just 1 key, as we've been seeing to this point. I didn't actually realize that difference until now, so neat. But yeah, so this was the very first one that was doing the whole 200 permanent buff thing, and it is still a good one to use, because with a lot of those other categories that we've mentioned, it's very possible that you have, you have like a team that you're using, and only a couple of the units on your team match up with the support member you're using, but with the Universe Survival Saga one I've found, oftentimes your entire team is Universe Survival Saga if you're using USS to begin with, right? Typically you're just running a Universe Survival Saga team, and then this one works out for every single character on the team. So yeah, that's a pretty fun one to go ahead and use. Okay, this one is from Super Battle Road as well. This is going to be the same thing as the Goku family one there, but it's for Vegeta's family. So you'll notice it's at level 2 right now, and it's at 15% stats. That's because this one, we just have not earned enough of these Awakening Medals from Super Battle Road yet. We have to wait for more stages to release, for Extreme Super Battle Road, excuse me. And then, we'll be able to get this one up to level 3, and it will be at the 20% stats instead of 15 there. And that one is for the Vegeta's family. Okay, and then the 2 Zamasus event. This one is going to be from like the Wrathful Gods Immortal Will event, I believe. So yeah, this one gives you worldwide chaos boosts of 10% per turn for battle, and then for 7 turns, 1 key to Goku Blacks or Zamasus. Then we've got this one here. I actually don't remember where this one is from. Okay. It must have been one of those events that was adjacent in the same celebration for the Wrathful Gods Immortal Will. Maybe it was for one of the Supreme Magnificent Battles or Red Zone stages. But anyway, this one's going to give you the Future Saga category allies 10% buff. And then it looks like the additional key for Trunks and Mai. Okay. And then we have, this is one of the best ones in the game tier 2 as well. Very comparable to, like, the Goku's family or Vegeta's family ones. Power Beyond Super Saiyan is getting 20% buffs here. That is very, very good. This is from the new Red Zone Vegeta Story Edition. So yeah, this one is definitely one of the better ones in game. Really strong characters are on Power Beyond Super Saiyan, and usually, even if you're not using a full Power Beyond Super Saiyan build, if you're running Power Beyond Super Saiyan characters, they likely are going to be some of the strongest units on your team anyway. So having the buff to those characters specifically is going to be pretty good for you, right? And then obviously, other than like Gohan and Trunks, I guess, and then like Gotenks, other than like those units, basically all of the Power Beyond Super Saiyans are going to be pure Saiyan characters, right? So most of them are going to be taking advantage of that additional key as well. Okay, then we have this one here. I think was from the Movie Heroes Red Zone. So Movie Heroes category allies get 20% stats in battle. That is a really good one as well. Very easy to get lots of good Movie Heroes characters, you know, culminated on the same team. So yeah, that's quite a good one. And then, oh yeah, it looks like this one also does the 2 key instead of just the 1 for allies whose name include Goku. Okay, neat. Is it giving 2 key because it's only buffing 1 category? Maybe that's why. Yeah, because it only buffs 1 category as opposed to 2, so it gives the extra key. Maybe that's what's going on with that. Well, but like this one doesn't. I'm actually not 100% sure about that. It doesn't seem super consistent. Okay. Okay, then the next one we've got here is Wicked Bloodline. Category allies get attack and defense 10% in battle. This one is from the Pride of the Fighting Spirit of the Saiyans and Pride of the Wicked Bloodline event, I believe. Not a great support memory just because Wicked Bloodline is such a bad category right now, right? Other than like the new full power Frieza, or I guess he's not new, but the new Easy A for the Namek Saga AGL full power Frieza. We don't really have many good, like, really top-tier usable Wicked Bloodline characters at the moment, so this is probably not a great one to be using, but it does exist, and it still will exist for the eventual buffs that Wicked Bloodline will get at some point in the future, right? Okay, and then we've got the God of Destruction's Pride one here. For Realm of Gods category characters are getting the 10% buffs in battle. That is a really good one, too. Lots of good Realm of Gods characters. And then Superhero Fading Away. So this one is for superheroes category allies get the 10% buff in battle. That is really good for us as well. And then down here we've got the Goku and Chi-Chi's interview. This is one that you earn from one of the 10th anniversary content stages as well. And I believe both of these were from different Red Zone stages. The Superhero Red Zone, and then I don't actually remember which Red Zone specifically this one would have come from. But yeah, those were probably both from Red Zone stages. And then this one is from the Goku's Story Edition Red Zone, right? I believe? No, I'm not correct about that. I think this one was from the Supreme Magnificent Battle that released during the 10th anniversary. Yeah. So yeah, we get the Bond of Parent and Child 10% buff. This is a really widespread category that includes a ton of, I think it spans probably a greater list of characters than maybe any of the other ones. As far as a relevant list of characters, right? Because maybe there is 1 or 2 of these that actually has a larger culmination of characters, but as far as the most amount of relevant characters in the game, like on Bond of Parent and Child, you're gonna have quite a few. Is that the last one? That's 200. Let's just go over the last one here then. Movie Bosses of Revenge, getting a 10% buff. That is a pretty solid one as well. And also, if you'll note, most of these, aside from like the Worldwide Chaos one, are for primarily superclass categories. There aren't a ton of these that really focus primarily on like extreme class categories. So that's why I like this one a lot, because Movie Bosses does cover quite a bit of the extreme class roster. So this is like one of the de facto go-to ones if you're using an extreme class team, but I really wish that they would release more extreme class ones, right? Obviously we had those ones from the collection of epic battles up here that specifically targeted like extreme class allies, but they aren't for the best categories, unfortunately. I guess androids kind of counts. And then we had like I think there was one other one in here that was like handedly extreme class. So yeah, the worldwide chaos one here was extreme class basically, because there's lots of good world extreme class stuff. Oh, this one here for the Wicked Bloodline, that's technically all extreme class characters as well, right? But again, not great categories. Whereas Movie Bosses has a ton of good categories, or a ton of good units on the category, right? So yeah, that is probably the best one for extreme class characters. And then I would say that this is maybe the best one for super class characters, just as far as, like, again, the roster it spans. Because if we were to take a look at, right, there are quite a few superhero characters that are on Bond of Parent and Child. There are quite a few Realm of Gods characters on Bond of Parent and Child. There are quite a few movie heroes characters on Bond of Parent and Child. There's quite a few Power Beyond Super Saiyan characters on that category as well. You're seeing the pattern here, right? There's quite a few Vegeta's family and Goku's family cards on there. Yeah, so just lots. Like, even GT Heroes has Bond of Parent and Child. Like, basically any of these other support memories that would be giving you, like, a more defined, you know, category. Bond of Parent and Child covers, like, a lot of the options on some of those categories. So, yeah, definitely a good support memory. Obviously, the one downside is that it is a level 1, so you're only getting the 10% buff, where you do have the opportunity to get, you know, a 20% buff from some of the other support memories. Sorry, my music paused there. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. There are obviously a bunch more support memories that we could specifically go through, but I think that their power just diminishes so far once you go down to tier 3, is what I'm calling it, right? So tier 1 was the support boost ones, like the drop rate boost ones. The tier 2 was the ones that all have the permanent buff, which we just went over all of, and then tier 3 is all the rest of them. So yeah, all the rest of them are not that great, just because they are only going to be active for like 2 turns or 3 turns in battle, and oftentimes you need very specific restrictions as far as having a specific category ally on your team or having a specific kind of enemy, so they're going to be a little bit more niche and finicky to proc in the first place, and oftentimes you'll find that there was a 200 cost one that was better. Oh, actually, I'm completely misspeaking. I am so glad I didn't forget this before we ended the video. I'm gonna call all of those ones tier 4. There is technically a tier 3, and that is ones that don't actually give you just a permanent buff, but give you some other kind of effect. There are a couple in here. Oh, and I did forget this one too. Wow, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this one counts as a permanent buff one as well, but it doesn't really matter that much. So this one gives you attack and defense, a flat bonus of 3,000 attack and defense, which might seem like a big number, but it's actually not that big, and it lasts for, you get 3% crit, I suppose, as well, and it lasts for 3,000 turns. So this is a bit of a meme one, because you earn it for logging into the game for 3,000 days, so for most players, that's not going to be relevant anyway, but I guess technically it does count as a permanent buff one, right? I guess unless you manage to go more than 3,000 turns, which is impossible. Even in, like, the Festival of Battles, you're not even getting to 100 turns, so that's never going to happen, right? Okay, so yeah, that's all the tier 2 ones. Tier 3 is going to be all of the ones that basically have the ability to heal you. So we have the Curious Destiny one here. This one is going to allow you to recover 50% HP, and for 2 turns, Pure Saiyans and Earthling category allies get attack and defense 10% on the 4th turn from the start of battle, or when HP is 40% or less with a Pure Saiyan or Earthling category ally on the team. So, this is a pretty easy one to get to proc, just because Pure Saiyans and Earthlings, that's pretty widespread, and obviously there's a ton of strong cards on Pure Saiyans. Oftentimes when I'm going into challenge content, if I feel like I need the recovery boost, you know, for the extra healing, this could be quite useful for events like I mentioned before that lock out item usage, so you don't have the ability to heal with items. This can be a really, really helpful support memory for you. So yeah, as long as you've got a Pure Saiyan category ally on the team, then you're going to be fine to proc this effect. It will automatically proc on turn 4. That's the big downside of it and why it's not as good as just like a healing item, because you can't really just hold it and save it for later in the fight when you need it. If you don't need it before then it's just going to proc on turn 4 regardless of what your HP is at. But if it is especially useful for very short form content, such as like some of the red zone stages that are only one phase and you just jump into the fight and it's as hard as it's going to be right at the beginning. Those kind of fights can be really, really useful, or for some of the fights that have like a really tough AoE stage or something like that early on in the fight, this can be really, really good. It is very possible to get your HP to diminish below 40% before the 4th turn of battle, especially if you are utilizing a team that needs a lot of build-up, where they're pretty weak on the first couple of turns and then they stack a little bit and get stronger. This could be a really, really solid support memory for you. So yeah, that is a pretty good one there. And then I believe the only other one that is going to be providing some type of like a healing bonus and not just giving you stats is, I'm just briefly trying to scan to make sure there weren't any other ones that I missed that have that kind of effect. I'm pretty sure I'm correct about that though. Okay, yeah, it's just going to be the Fly Icarus here. So when your HP goes below 70% for the first time, you will get 15% stats for 1 turn and recover 15% HP. So not nearly as strong as the other one, but that is still something to note, that it is a useful effect, and it is not limited to any category or anything like that. You can use this with any team in the game. So yeah, oftentimes when I find that I have no support memory to use, because there's just literally no support memory that's going to be effective for whatever team or category I'm running, I just throw on the Fly Icarus one. Obviously, if like the Bulma one is exempt because I don't have an Earthlings or a Pure Saiyan, then I just put on Fly Icarus because it's another free little bonus that you'd get. It's better than just not having a support memory at all, right? Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, but okay, so that's going to be all of them. That's tier 3, and then everything else is tier 4. Those ones are basically ones that I don't even deem it being worth using at all, pretty much. I suppose, for some of these ones, like this one, you get a 2-turn buff for Goku's family category allies. So if you're running like a Super Battle Road stage or something like that, keep in mind that each of the fights within the Super Battle Road stage are going to re-proc this. And it still obviously will only cost you the 100 support reels. So that can be kind of a benefit for you because you're going to get it to proc multiple times and you'll have it active for most of the fight. So that can be good. But obviously, for this example specifically, you just have a permanent one that's going to be even better for you, right? So yeah, a lot of times I don't think it's really going to be worthwhile to use a lot of these other support memories. They are here, but none of them have like insane, amazing effects that I think it's worth really going over them. Yeah, probably not. Okay, so very last thing I'll do before we finish up the video here is we'll switch back to in-game. And then there was another thing that I wanted to mention. So while you're hunting for your support memories, they have done a really, really horrible job organizing the support memories. So the colors are indicative of the like the saga or like the series of Dragon Ball that the support memory is based around. So all the red ones are Dragon Ball Saga, all the yellow ones are Dragon Ball Z, all the blue ones are GT, the orange ones are Dragon Ball Super, and then the green ones are from movies. I think that was a really big miss for them to do. There's really no reason why they needed to separate them by that. I think that they could have used these colors a lot more strategically to help you figure out like some of the effects that you're going to be dealing with, right? Had they, like, it would have been cool if they had one color for, like, let's say red was for any of the ones that give drop rate bonuses, so that you're looking at that. Yellow could have been for any of the ones that provide a healing effect. Like blue could have been for any of the ones that have a permanent buff in battle, right? They could have done all kinds of things like that with it instead. It would have been a lot easier to like identify which of these are which, rather than just having to memorize all of these. Because basically from there, the only thing that we have to really go off of is memorizing those few special ones that we pointed out, and then looking at the real cost and seeing that the 200 just indicates it's a permanent buff one, and that's basically the way you can decipher these from there. But yeah, I've always thought that this is horribly organized, and it's so hard to remember like which specific categories are tied to which specific ones. So just checking through them takes a million years, which is why conveniently what I wanted to show you is that we have this little auto button right here. So turning this auto on here is basically going to have the game manually detect your team build, see which support memory would be the most viable for it, and then it's going to apply that support memory to your team. I don't think it's super effective, because as you can see here, okay. I guess it's explaining a little bit more specifically. A support memory will be randomly selected from the ones that can be used. I wonder if it changes with... Yeah, okay, so there you go. So as you turn the auto on and off, it's going to suggest ones that can be used. Now, I guess I'm not 100% sure if it's reading your team or if it's just reading the event. Because, technically speaking, any of the ones that have a permanent buff in battle can be used at any point, right? Okay, well that... Oh, yeah, this proves it right here. So it's giving you a Universe Survival Saga one. There's no Universe Survival Saga characters on this team. Yeah, there's no Movie Heroes characters on this team. So... the auto function is kind of funky. It's just going to give you all of those, permanent buff ones as a suggested availability thing, but it doesn't really read your team that you're using and show you like what the best one is to use. So yeah, that's just another way in which I think support memories are horribly set up, unfortunate as it is. I wish that they would like revamp this whole system and make it a little bit better, but is what it is. That's what we've got to work with. So hopefully this guide gave you a little bit more information into, your usage of support memories in the future. I think that that's about all of the information I could possibly divulge on support memories. So we'll go ahead and finish it up here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below. That's going to do it for this one, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.